We are all worth the fight.
We're all worth the fight.
We're all worth the fight.
We are definitely worth the fight. Yes, and you're worth the fight too.
You're all worth the fight, and that's true because we are a union that is determined to represent and lift up working people, and you can't do that if you leave one person behind.
It doesn't matter if we're a group of 50 workers or a group of 5,000 workers. That is exactly what this union does, is we protect each other. And we saw that during our Monroe Academy strike.
What I would say to other workers that are scared of speaking up or unionizing is that it is scary at first, but it's definitely worth it, especially when you all come together and you see the power that you hold when you have unity. I love my job. It's the best job ever. It's so fun.
Brand new collective agreement, brand new to our union. What an inspiration those workers are. Solidarity. I am so glad that they chose Unifor to be their union. What we saw with the Monroe strike, 21 of them going out on strike, not for wages, not for money.
We were fighting for 40 hours a week, and at every other daycare around here, like within the community, that's a normal, like they have that, but for us, we had to fight for that. The first time on the picket line, we were really stressed out at the beginning, but then once we got out there, it was like really empowering because we had the union supporting us and so many other people, so it went from feeling nervous to empowering. There were so many people on our line that thought we were worth the fight and stood there for us. And they definitely kept us going. Like most days they were going harder on the picket line than we were. And we're like, okay, if they're gonna show up for us this way, we have to show up for ourselves.
The community support there was unbelievable, like nothing I've ever seen. In fact, the community wanted to host a rally for these workers, so they contacted us. We said we're in 100%. Our national union actually traveled from Toronto to walk on this picket line with 21 women in Cape Breton. The love and support that was shown that day was something I'll never forget.
And we are so proud to be here. When you pick on one member of a family, the whole family stands up.
It's been a learning experience, that's for sure. It really is empowering and it's exciting to be a part of the union.
Workers United!
The Monroe Academy members, they joined Local 4600, the small and mighty local. That local has many healthcare workers, and healthcare workers are no strangers to struggle.
I am a child care assistant. I work at Ty Gregor, the children's home on the regional hospital property. In 2015, Stephen McNeil's government decided that we're going to take away your bargaining, and this is what you're getting, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Bill 148's been a 10-year fight. But the labor movement and our union never gave up. We kept fighting, we never stopped, because our members needed us to do that. Very recently, we found out that Bill 148 was ruled unconstitutional, and we won.
So if you fight, sometimes you win.
I think Bill 148 really contributed to staffing shortages we're seeing, the exhaustion.
We work short every day. The burnout rate is so high because you're into overtime all the time. We're there to take care of patients day to day, and in order to continue to do that, you have to feel valued and you have to feel heard. Being a part of Unifor does help with those challenges because you have a bigger voice. They get things done.
Unifor, during our last bargaining, was able to bargain the best contract for us that I've ever received in my working life.
There's probably nothing more at the heart of what we do than collective bargaining.
Je suis le président de la section locale 506. Nous sommes un local amalgamé qui contient 3 unités. Chaque unité a un représentant national différent et avec leur appui, on assure une représentation solide. Pour les travailleurs, la négociation est le moment d'exprimer leurs besoins et leurs priorités. C'est l'outil pour obtenir les meilleures conditions de travail, plus de sécurité, plus de respect et avoir une voix réelle dans les décisions qui les touchent. La négociation, c'est le cœur du pouvoir collectif. Les enjeux clés sont les salaires, les bénéfices, les pensions, la sécurité d'emploi, la santé et sécurité et respect au travail. Dans une négociation, le combat, c'est défendre les priorités des membres, résister au recul, obtenir des vrais gains et faire reconnaître la valeur de leur travail. Unifor apporte l'expertise, les ressources et l'appui stratégique. On prépare les arguments, on analyse les propositions et on protège les droits. On veille au respect du processus et surtout, on soutient les membres pour qu'ils ne soient jamais seuls face à l'employeur. Chaque membre mérite qu'on défende ses priorités et qu'on obtienne des vrais gains. Leur travail fait vivre les entreprises et sans eux, l'entreprise n'existerait pas.
If we want to talk about changing lives, many rounds of bargaining have achieved things like women's advocates, including having intimate partner violence declared an epidemic.
We're really thrilled to be bringing this Intimate Partner Violence Symposium here. This is the third Atlantic province that we've been in.
Everybody knows that it is everybody's problem, and there is an end to intimate partner violence, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. But Unifor is out there doing the work, and we won't stop.
Declaring intimate partner violence an epidemic means we recognize that it's not just an individual problem, it's a societal failure.
I'm here to learn what can I do in my line of work that I can keep an eye out and maybe make a difference in someone's life. If I can be someone that notices something going on, to be the person to say something and make others aware and hopefully get them some help. I work on the ferry, and there's a lot of public that comes through, hundreds of people crossing every day. We may notice someone with bruises, we may notice someone who is very submissive. Sometimes it's how the children act. You don't realize just how much violence there is out there day to day. It's really scary. It's definitely worth fighting for because it could be your sister, it could be your aunt, it could be your daughter, so we all have to fight for the awareness of what's going on.
I want to say how thankful I am to each of the frontline service providers who are here with us to share your resources.
Having Unifor involved in this conversation is really important because it shows us that they care about us. They care about our well-being, and they care about the people that we take care of too.
The story of the Sea Rose is quite unique.
Workers are being underappreciated, in my opinion. I think the more people that unionize and the more people that bring that to light and address it formally in collective bargaining, the better chances we have of gaining on our end. I'm an industrial mechanic on the Sea Rose, millwright by trade. Basically a 900-foot tanker with an oil production, separation, gas compression facility, and the storage close on 1 million barrel storage.
For a decade, we were trying to convince these workers to join with us. It didn't just take convincing from the union. The employer played a big part in that too.
It was not an easy union drive. We had an off-station program coming up where we disconnect the Sea Rose. We proceeded to Northern Ireland, to Belfast, to the Harlan Wolff shipyard to start executing this life extension project. We had terms and conditions that we confirmed prior to taking the assignment, and they weren't honored. They were broken, so there was a stand down from work. I think that was the big push to say, okay, well, we're obviously lacking structure here.
They called on Patrick and asked if he would go to Belfast.
I'm not even really sure how it happened. After that, we were in contact with Pat Murray, and things went from there.
Every worker deserves to join a union, and when workers want to join ours, we're going to show them that they're important.
I knew the benefit and the purpose unions serve, and I thought that given the situation we were in, it'd be a good fit. Following our certification, I was invited to the National Convention in Vancouver this past summer, and it was eye-opening. The interaction with the people, how Unifor spans across the economy, how diversified the union is, was a very pleasant surprise. And I can remember when I was out there, I was messaging the members offshore and saying, I think we're in pretty good hands. I think we made a good move here. And no matter what sector you're in, offshore oil and gas is the polar opposite of the Sheraton Hotel down the road. But when we do our negotiations, we do them at the Sheraton. We support our members over there. We tie it all together. It's all part of the union. I see our national president grinding it out on national television. I see a group of people that I wouldn't want to pick a fight with. And definitely worth the fight.
The Atlantic region is small and mighty. It's really important to just highlight how special this region is when we talk about the generosity and love that comes from here.
You don't realize the impact that you can make on a community, and just one small step forward, it can snowball. And that's exactly what happened with Jogging the Goggins. We started with the David Goggins Challenge. We're gonna run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. It turned into a charity that has raised over $125,000 in support of NB Social Pediatrics. NB Social Pediatrics is a local charity. They support basically families in need and children in need.
The work that they do really does align with much of the work that we do.
I was able to, I'll call it trick Jen into actually joining our last year's endeavors and putting a team in, and that's really where it kind of blossomed into something more than I ever would have expected.
We came up with a team of people. It was a 24-hour rowing event. Our union came together.
Unifor just said, whatever you raise, we'll match, which was amazing. You just get blown away when things like that happen. As a Unifor member, we often fight for our membership, and no one gets left behind, and that includes the people in your community.
We had a great team. The team name was Sink or Swim, and then I got thinking about the name. And I think in this union, every single time we make the choice to swim because our members are worth fighting for.
We're all worth the fight.
FFAW Unifor is a force all of their own. They're not afraid to push back.
There's a reason that the FFAW's motto has always been fighting back makes a difference, because there have been some very, very large wins for our union.
One of their fight backs that truly inspired me was when Dwan stood on the wharf with a big old ship in front of her trying to dock, and she said no.
Just last year, we were successful in negotiating a price for sea cucumber, and unfortunately the processors in the province decided that they weren't going to buy from our harvesters, and in a blatant display decided they were going to let one vessel from St. Pierre-Miquelon land sea cucumber and have it processed in this province, and our members said absolutely not. When that vessel tried to tie up, we threw the ropes back and just told them to go home. They refused, they tried to wait us out, but I don't think they really understood the resolve of our members.
And that boat turned around and left that wharf.
That fight showed not only a foreign country, but a processing company, Royal Greenland, here in the province that is owned by a foreign country, that you are not going to come in here and try to break our members. It's just not going to happen.
Unifor members, we're not afraid to stand up and speak out. Very recently, the government in Nova Scotia, Tim Houston, presented his budget, and that budget included harmful cuts.
Millions of dollars in funding, and it disproportionately affected Black Nova Scotians.
Our BIWAC committee wasn't standing by and going to let that happen. Everybody made sure that Tim Houston heard that they weren't happy with his decisions. And then during the Black Heritage Gala, Tim Houston thought it was appropriate to get up and offer greetings.
He was immediately met with protest. It was just kind of an eruption from the crowd. They kind of didn't allow him to speak. It was amazing. You know, it was uncomfortable because in the space, you know, being dressed up and makeup and that kind of thing, it seemed wrong, but I think it was the most right place for it to happen. You know, it's important to speak up in any space when you're seeing inequity or you're seeing wrongdoing. This union is for every member. I think sometimes it just has to be blatantly said out loud that we're allies in your fight is so important.
The challenges facing workers today, facing our country today, to be in a trade war with our closest trading partner, to see the impact, the very real impact it is having on working people. It really shows right now how it is and why it is workers need to show up for each other.
Every worker is worth our fight every day for what we do. There's where I work at Kent Homes. I am the local president here of 62N, and I work in the warehouse. We build multi-family dwellings, modular and mini homes, because of what's going on in the world today, and obviously our neighbors to the south. For us to be able to source everything that we need to build our homes here in Canada, those spin-off jobs for the people who are supplying us, so it keeps them employed as well. It feeds and supplies so many people for their livelihood.
Kent Homes is not only using Canadian materials, they're using Atlantic Canadian materials first. And I think it's important to highlight that.
So our struggle here is, even though the government is pushing a lot of money into housing right across Canada, is more making sure that that money keeps flowing through from the government into us. Every worker that comes through the doors that starts in Kent Homes is worth the fight.
Perry, who builds way more than homes. Perry is a builder of our union, and he puts his big heart into everything that he does.
Anytime that you can make someone just feel a little bit better in the workplace, it's such a solid feeling for us.
We are very lucky to have somebody like Perry in our union, and the difference he's making out there is pretty unique.
That's what the Unifor community is all about. It's about helping each other and lifting each other up rather than turning your back on anybody. We're all worth the fight, because we are all worth the fight.
Yes, we are. For our loved ones, for our families, for our communities, people who show solidarity, they stand up, not only for themselves, but for their brothers and sisters in Unifor itself. I started work in 1974 at Newfoundland Telephone, and now retired, and I am a proud member of the Retirees Committee for St. John's. There's always something, be it a demonstration, women's issues, economic issues, a strike. Retirees will often show up so that the people on the picket line feel supported. There's someone to listen to them, and most times the person who shows up as a retiree has been there, who's felt the cold, who's felt the rain. We're there to help, and that's why the retirees are important going forward. We can't lose what we've already worked for. We have to keep moving, keep going ahead, and be strong.
When you stand at a high point in Corner Brook, the mill is really the heart of Corner Brook.
It's been here our whole lives. There's been generations brought through that mill. Families, from their grandfather to their father, now them. Pipe fitters, millwrights, welders, machinists, a lot of different jobs down there, a lot of different personalities down there. It's almost like a big community, because you walk in, you're walking down the hall, and how you doing today, boy? How you doing, boy? Hey, how you doing? Yeah, how's good? And off you go. That mill provides a lot of money to a lot of families. There's so much tied into that mill that a lot of people don't realize. It's not only about the 350 people that works down there. It's the canvas shops, it's the shopping mall, it's the gas station, it's the loggers, it's the Irving down the road that's fueling the logging trucks. Our whole forestry sector is tied into that mill. It's huge.
So not that long ago, we found out that Kruger wanted to make a very large investment in that mill.
Switching over how we do things and getting into new products, putting some longevity back into the mill.
So they laid out their plan to us, a little reluctantly, but understanding that they weren't getting an agreement until we knew we were part of the plan.
We have to hold their feet to the fire to make sure that they invest that money, that it doesn't just go kicked off in areas where it should not.
Lana Payne always says, you know, we're going to get there the easy way or we're going to get there the hard way. And they chose the easy way that day.
The union has been a driving force to help navigate through all this.
The name of the game is protecting jobs and protecting workers and protecting communities. And I believe that we did that.
We are all worth the fight. Our families are worth the fight. The union is a huge support system. It's a brother and sisterhood, and it's so big it's unimaginable. And just to know that you're a part of something, and they're always there, no matter what, you always got somebody you can count on.
And that's how you build a strong union, by making sure that everybody is fought for and that everybody is worth the fight.
And you know we're all worth the fight.
On mérite qu'on se bat pour nous.
We're all worth the fight.
We're all worth the fight.
Everybody is worth the fight.
We're all worth the fight.
We are so all worth the fight.
And we're not going to stop.